Detroit, 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 Detroit is different. Detroit is different. Detroit, Detroit, different. Detroit is different. Detroit is different.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And I have in studio a guest that's definitely connected to culture, arts, and so many other things. Actually, her better half was here kind of like around like a year ago around this time.
Has it been a year?
Seems like it. So she is definitely coming on a journey of getting into these mics and telling stories herself. So without any further ado, Cornetta Lane Smith, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
All is cool. This kind of even came together from everything with Eric Cook. You was like, yo, I want to get on. And I was like, say less. And then you was like, I'm going to call Brent. You're like, yeah, say less.
I got to tell you, that was a crazy story. Okay, so Brent was a guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, my husband, he looks so good on camera. I'm like, go boo.
Okay. He was like, look at him looking fly, telling them stories about back in the day.
That's right. But I was right in the middle of planning for the crowdfunding campaign to raise money for the pilot episode of Recipes of Resistance. We can talk about that a little bit later. But I was like, yeah, I need to be able to share more about like what I'm doing. And I was like, Brent, you think Kari will allow me to be on his podcast? And he was like, I don't see why not. Like, yeah, sure. And so I told him that morning. That afternoon, I did a walkthrough at Eric Cook's place because I was like, oh, maybe I could do like the screening there. And then I don't know how you came up in conversation, but he was like, yeah, Kari is on his way over. I was like, wait, what? I was just talking about Kari. I was just
Interesting.
And then lo and behold, you walk through the door and then the rest is history.
See, the law of attraction. it works if you think it. So get all of that nonsense out your mind.
That's right.
Then focus on what you really want in your life, and it starts manifesting.
I am a big believer of it.
Yeah.
Write it down, make it plain.
Yeah.
That's right.
Definitely. Even though definitely at times it's hard not to be like, this bull.
1000%.
But if you got to stay focused on what we can be constructive in. And you already kind of dropped a little bit of a hint just walking through the house of the question that I always start with, as you got some roots over in possibly this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I always start these with your Detroit story. How many generations deep is your family to Detroit?
Boom. Okay. So I am second generation born in Detroit. My grandmother migrated to Detroit from Grand Junction, Tennessee, which is an hour east of Memphis. She migrated in the 1950s, and she had 6 children. And they moved like all over.
Okay.
But they eventually settled on Greenlawn in Tireman.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. I already know the neighborhood.
That's right.
I think McKenzie when I think over there.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So,
and my mom and her siblings all graduated from McKenzie High School.
Yep. McKenzie, some churches over there and everything. It used to be like a black-owned go-kart place around there back in the day.
Okay.
It wasn't the coolest track, but it was like cool to be in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Was it like Oakman area? Okay, yes. I remember going there. Yes.
Yeah.
When my mom was old enough to be on her own, she moved to Grand, which is right around the corner from here. And then she got married when I was 3. And then they moved to Core City. Which is basically MLK and like 96 area. So right up the street, like we can literally see the train station from our porch. That's how close we were. And then and then Britt and I fell in love, and we moved on Steele, and then now we're on in Bagley, in the Bagley neighborhood.
Okay, so you staying like in that footprint of a little bit of that Southwest Detroit feel.
Well, so Bagley on the west side.
Okay.
So Bagley neighborhood. So there's Bagley Street.
The Bagley
Southwest.
neighborhood.
Bagley neighborhood.
That's not that far from like Mary Grove.
That's right.
And all of those people that still identify with the Bates Academy.
That's right.
There.
That's
okay.
right.
All right. I definitely know that. As Darnetta Simpson is one of the grandmas in our street team.
Okay.
So shout out to Darnetta and all them people over there in that Live Six community.
Yeah.
Pouring in and making all types of stuff come together. All right, so you gave bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Tennessee is not one of those states where a lot of people come up to Detroit. Tennessee is one of those states when we think of the migration patterns, as I've uplifted so many times before, really go through the train patterns. And Tennessee, depending upon where you at, Memphis, sometimes them folks go way west, end up in LA and all of that good stuff. But some strong Detroiters from Tennessee, as Helen Moore is one of those people. So what led them up from Tennessee to Detroit?
So okay. This is another story.
Okay.
All right. So the pandemic. My cousin gives me a call and he's like, Cornetta, do you know of a relative, an ancestor named Sebastian? I'm like, Sebastian? I don't know a Sebastian. And he goes, well, the story is that Sebastian was one of our enslaved ancestors, and he fathered over 25 kids. And I was like, I don't know that story. So let me call my mom, because my mom is the family historian.
Okay.
So I called my mom, and I'm on three-way with my cousin, and we explained to her exactly what he shared with me, and she was like, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
Now, did he did this from like 23andMe or something?
No. So we end up finding out. So my cousin, basically his father told him. So my uncle, and so we called my uncle. I said, Uncle, where'd you get the story from? Like, my mom doesn't know. I'm not familiar with it. Like, where did this story come from? And he goes, well, Aunt Flo shared this with us. And so it really did like set me on a journey of learning more about my grandmother. My grandmother passed away in 2007.
Condolences.
Thank you. And I remember by the time I got interested in my grandmother's story, I was about 16, and it was a little too late because she had suffered a stroke, and it impacted her ability to speak.
Yeah.
And I remember when she passed, I was like, from here on out, I'm going to be curious about the world around me. I'm going to be asking questions. I'm going to be, doing what is necessary to keep our family's memory alive. And so fast forward to today, I decided that I wanted to do a documentary about my grandmother.
Okay.
And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to prepare her favorite meal and serve it to members of my family as we kind of recount the stories of Laura. That's her name. And while I'm cooking, though, I'm going to be talking a little bit about everything that I learned about my grandmother. So I booked a flight to Grand Junction with my mom and my cousin, and we all went down there.
Okay.
Just to explore.
Grand Junction has an actual airport, or did you have to go to Memphis?
We had to go to Memphis.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, never heard of Grand Junction.
It's super small, like 2 blocks long.
Okay.
That's the center of town, 2 blocks long. We get there, and everything is closed, except for one institution, and we were like,
during the pandemic, right? Or is it just more so just...
Yeah, this is maybe like a year after lockdown. So like people were outside a little bit. And so we made our way there, and we went to the Bird Dog Museum. I don't know if you're familiar with the bird dog.
I'm definitely not.
Okay. So it is a hunting dog. And it is very popular in the South.
I figured it was something like that.
Yeah. And this museum is like 100 years old.
Okay.
And it is very in pristine condition. Like it's a beautiful museum. So I knock on the door,
And it's in Grand Junction?
And it's in Grand Junction.
Okay, so that's like the attraction that brings people.
Yes.
That is their
claim to fame.
Yes, that's their like if it was Las Vegas, that's their strip.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And Dunn Sporting Goods actually founded the museum, which is why it's such in pristine condition.
Okay.
But you go in there and there's a bunch of like taxidermy dogs and just the history of the bird dog.
Okay, so those taxidermy, so people know it's like the stuffed bears and animals and all of that stuff.
That's right.
Actually, somebody I know that has one of their dog. It creeped me out as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because you go in and it's like, is that cool? And it's like, so like if and then depending upon where you're going, it'll be a lot of those.
That's right.
Think what's that? The Get Out movie. I want to say it was like some in that scene.
Yeah, think about the deers above the mantles. You know that's taxidermy.
Or the big bears that'll be sitting in a person's living room and everything.
Yep. Yeah. So we go inside, and she was like, very thick Southern accent. Well, darling, we're closed, but you're more than welcome to come in. And we were like, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in, and she starts explaining the Bird Dog Museum, and I was like, ma'am, I got to tell you something. I really don't care about the Bird Dog Museum. I just want to know if you know my people.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? You don't care about the Las Vegas Strip of Grand Junction? Who are you? These city folks. These city folks.
But she was so kind. She was so kind. And I asked her, I said, I just want to know if you know Laura Harge. And she goes, well, I've only been here for 10 years, but Mr. Donnie out back, maybe he knows. So we go through the museum, and we end up at the back door. And Mr. Donnie is outside sweeping. He keeps the grounds there. And he has on like these overalls with the hat. And it literally is like what you imagine, like a Southern black man, and older in age. But if you could imagine like a janitor, a building janitor, that's him. Like he was that. But he was so very kind. He had very kind eyes. And I said, she introduced us, and I said, hey, Mr. Donnie. Said, we're from Detroit. We're down here to learn about our family's past. Do you know Laura Hodge? And he goes, I don't know a Laura Hodge, but I know a Lodi Hodge. And I was like, that's my grandmother's brother. So we end up meeting someone. Like my family, my grandmother has not lived in Grand Junction since the 1950s.
She was like, I need a lot more action than the bird dog.
That's exactly
I'm going to go up to Motown.
That's right. She followed her sister.
Go to Detroit.
That's exactly right.
Joe Louis up there fighting and all of this.
That's right.
I'm getting up there.
That's right. But she, but he goes to explain, that Lodi was the type of person that you would want to be your neighbor because he was always willing to help and support and be a good neighbor. And for me, that was just like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to find more people who knew about, my grandmother's family. And so we did that. I looked through their census records, found all types of stuff. My great-grandfather, A.G. Hodge, was born on a plantation, but he was born in the 1890s. So that's well after Emancipation Proclamation, which means that they were sharecroppers.
Yeah.
And so 1950s is when my grandmother migrated, but it's also when her father passed away. And basically her world, changed. And so my grandmother came up here and she had her kids, and my Aunt Lynn wrote me a letter that detailed basically their upbringing. My mom, her siblings, and the different houses that they lived in, and it was wonderful. Right now, my aunt is actually fighting cancer right now.
Where's that?
And so, another way to kind of like honor not only my grandmother but my aunt is to tell their stories and remember them and keep their names on our mouths and celebrate who they were. When I think about my grandmother and my Aunt Lynn, they're saints to me. We grew up Seventh-day Adventists. So
okay, so that's like, so for people that don't know, that's like like I say, you know what I'm saying, the Kojic and the 7-Day Adventist, and you know that's some hardcore church.
Hardcore.
That's some hardcore church.
So yes. So sundown, we can't, no TV, no plan, like we just gotta be.
Yeah.
Okay. No pants, no makeup, like we just basically come as you are. Easter was super long. I mean, it's a day-long thing where we would carry banners and literally march singing songs like that. That was 7-Day Adventist.
Yeah, that reminds me of my the room we in, my grandmother's room. One of her favorite songs was old school church song, "Just As I Am Without One Plea."
Okay.
One of them.
Okay. I'm not familiar, but maybe if I heard, I mean, you sing.
Oh no. No.
But yeah, so that was my grandmother. Like they lived in the church, and would give you anything off their backs. Like that's just the type of people that they were. And yeah, I honor her.
I love your storytelling ability already, so I'm definitely interested in things, but I definitely want to unpack some of those details that you're already opening up to.
Sure.
So, how many brothers and sisters did your grandmother have?
Ooh, so according to the census records, A.G. Hodge had at least 3 different families.
Okay.
But I'm not clear on what happened with each of his wives. I just know that the 1930s and 40s census, he was living with Louise, which is my great-grandmother.
Okay.
And even the paper trail for Louise runs cold. And here's the thing. So the 1950 census is available. The 1960 census won't be available for another decade because that's how they release it every decade to kind of for privacy issues. And so I can't wait for the next decade where I can really see what happened to A.G. Hodge. Like, did he live beyond 1950s? Because even I can't find his death records or anything like that. And by the way, I learned so much about reading census records just from watching Finding Your Roots. Like Henry Louis Gates, who's doing God's work, in my opinion, by helping people understand how to read a census record, because you might think one thing, but it could be a completely different thing. And it was just so helpful to kind of see how they do it, so that I could apply it to the research that I'm doing about my family. But I learned so much about my grandmother, her town of Grand Junction. So Grand Junction was a railroad town, and it went south and it went east. And it actually was also the site of contraband camp. Do you know what a contraband camp is?
No.
Okay. So basically, during the Civil War, the Union Army set up these camps, soldier camps, but very few of those camps were dedicated to folks who were enslaved. And so there was one camp set up in Grand Junction, and you're talking about a handful of contraband camps, and they call it contraband because, obviously enslaved folks
were not honored as citizens.
Correct.
So basically, this is for people that have seen it, the movie Glory with Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and I'm forgetting the brother that was on Homicide and Brooklyn 911. But that guy, they're all in the movie Glory about Black soldiers that fight in the Union for the Civil War, for freedom. That arc and that story, kind of lives there, but also, it's clearly, I mean, the prejudice was alive in World War One, World War II. I mean, it's alive right now, and God knows what weird conflict we're in, right?
Yeah.
So definitely then. So the contraband camp. So the lives of these Black soldiers are looked at as contraband.
So they weren't soldiers. These were people who were like fleeing slavery.
Mhm.
Like they were kids, women, men. Like they were just because of the war. Like everybody's lives were upside down, and the conditions of the plantations and everything. It was just everything was chaotic. And so to seek refuge, enslaved individuals would run to these camps for a level of safety.
Wow.
And there was actually one particular chaplain who was responsible for setting up this contraband camp. And I literally got a chance to read like his diary entries every day of the conditions of the camp. So some camps, uh, there would be like teachers there to kind of like teach enslaved folks different things like how to read and that sort of thing. But but just think of it in terms of this: the Union soldiers, the enslaved folks would basically take their things from secondhand. So you're talking about like soiled uniforms, soiled, um, um, like cots, soiled tents, and they would use them, for their own shelter. So you could just imagine like the stench. You could imagine just like the conditions of the camps, but they were there just to escape slavery.
Yeah. So it's really sounding like a lot of the maroon colonies in certain ways. Now that I'm enlightened, thank you for sharing that information.
Yeah.
And I also want to uplift as you talk about the conditions of a lot of this the Civil War, especially the Civil War. A lot of the deaths are not really even in the battlefield. It's from the conditions of the medics at the time, and the way that people were dealing with treating the soldiers. So definitely you could see the conditions, you know what I'm saying? Because that was back when it's like, oh yeah, you could get gangrene in this, and then
Right.
they
Right.
cut they cut off whatever, appendix or limb,
Yeah.
and it's like the sanitation from like the scalpels, needles, all of that stuff was not what it is today. I mean, and I'm sure it's probably God knows what weird biochemical
Yeah.
weapons are out. We're probably 100 years from now, they're gonna say, "Hey, they were still breathing the same air," or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, these are the conditions
Yep.
that do exist.
Yeah, and they were in a couple of the entries it talked about how some of the camps would actually get raided by like local farmers who were obviously angry that formerly enslaved people were
Yeah.
in these camps and not working.
Mhm.
Or not yeah,
Well, they
enforced
weren't
labor.
enslaved.
Enforced
Yeah,
labor.
so they are leaving enslavement.
Correct.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and also it's a lot in that Civil War to Reconstruction
Yeah.
history of what's happening in America. Um, just period. As the Union really needed a lot of the enslaved Black men to even navigate a
That's right.
lot of the South itself,
That's right.
because they knew obviously the footprint a lot more
Right.
than you wouldn't know, especially like when we think of Tennessee, like anywhere, the Appalachian Mountains are running
Yep.
all the way through America for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of concurrent with the Mississippi. So navigating either, if
Yeah.
you really aren't familiar with the territory, you know, you're you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And the enslaved men knew how to navigate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just from being there.
Right. And that's the history of my grandmother's hometown. And so when I found out that, my great-grandfather, A.G. Hodge, was born on a plantation there, I actually asked Mr. Donnie. I said, "Mr. Donnie, do you know where the John W. Elliot plantation is?" And then the woman who opened the door, she was like, "Well, we don't know where any plantations are, but we know where the farms are."
Yeah.
Like, ma'am, it was a plantation. Anyway.
Yeah.
But she there aren't any street names there. So she's like, she did the like small town thing where like, okay, now when you get to the fork in the road, you're gonna make a right where the cow is.
I mean,
just
hey,
like
small town
like,
thing. I mean, I'm 40. I'm headed to 43. So I mean, even when I was driving, like shout out to Kool-Aid, rest in peace. He used to always give the joke. He was like, "Man, when people give you directions on the east side, they be giving you landmarks." Because that's how it was pre-GPS. They'd be like, "You go past 2 BPs and then you make a left."
That's right.
Yeah, I'm looking for landmarks.
But how do you do that? Like cows, like they move, like it's not necessarily.
You kind of
So
know the lay.
We navigated though, but we realized like as we were driving down this one street that the name of the road changed from Plantation Road to Elliot Road, and we were like,
"Got to be it.
This got to be it." So my cousin got out the car. He took his drone up in the air and he just did like a 360 scan, and it was all like flat land. We didn't see anything, but the fact that we were there at the genesis for us, was amazing. And so some of this information, or a lot of the information and much more, is going to be talked about, in this documentary about my grandmother.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. So moving up here, what you said that definitely that like McKenzie neighborhood and footprint, and your mom moves over around this way, which kind of leads to dad's side of the family. Dad's Detroit based too?
Dad is Detroit based too. I know I don't know as much about dad's side of the family.
But a
that's
Detroiter.
Next.
So Pops is a Detroiter as well.
Yeah, so my grandfather has land and lived in Virginia.
Okay.
So I know they got roots in Virginia. And I want to say, so that's my grandfather's side, and then my great grandmother's side, I believe, is Georgia. So Georgia, Virginia, Tennessee. That's what I know.
Those footprints.
Those footprints.
All right. So as we, I guess, continue for you, what neighborhood are you growing up in most your life?
Yeah. So I always tell people I'm mixed because I was raised on East Side and West Side.
Okay.
So I was raised the only child. But my aunt Louise, she had 7 kids, and so I was always at her house.
Okay.
And she lived on McClellan and Gratiot.
That is that. Hey, shout out to McClellan and Gratiot. I just had One Single Love Rose in here talking about being in that neighborhood.
That's right. Yes.
That is for sure. That is for sure the East Side.
And what's so interesting? Like 2 or 3 blocks in is actually where Brent used to hang out at his aunt's house.
Okay.
And so
you just never knew.
Like we probably saw each other on the playground or something, like
it was like really another bad creation. Playground.
Yep. So McClellan and Gratiot, and then she moved over to like the Connor area.
Okay.
I'm blanking on the name where she grew up. But then, like I said, I was always over at my grandma's house as well on Greenlawn and between Tyreman and Joy Road.
Okay.
And then, but my mom and my stepfather, we lived in Core City.
Okay.
And my mom lived there since I was 3 years old. So
okay. All right. So now I guess I got to get into just that story with you. Where do you start school? Where you go?
Yeah.
What's your elementary? What's your middle? What's your high school?
Yeah. So elementary and middle school was St. Casimir. It was right around the corner from the house in Core City. It was a very, very small Catholic school. We were graduating class of 12.
What was your parochial school experience like for you?
It taught me a lot about creativity and leadership. So in the 8th grade, and I like telling this story. In the 8th grade, so by the way, I was a PAL cheerleader.
Okay. What team?
West Side Cubs and East Side Raiders.
Oh, you did. You was like, that's like being a blood and a Crip.
That's
like being a blood and a Crip.
Yes.
West Side Cubs, we go for Cubs. All for the Cubs. East Side Raiders, that was the rival of the Cubs.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
You just see purple and white and you be like, okay.
Yep. So East Side Raiders, West Side Cubs. So I feel like I had enough cheer experience to do something. So 8th grade, the boys announced that they were putting together a basketball team. And I was like, well, what about the girls? Like, what about us? Like, can't we get a chance?
Okay.
And so I talked to my teacher, Ms. Merg. I said, Ms. Merg, the girls need something. The girls need something. Like, I'm about to host tryouts. And so I made an announcement at lunch, stood on top of a chair. I said, ladies, I am hosting tryouts. And by the way, so St. Casimir, it didn't have like a playground. And so what they would do is they would block off both ends of the street and just like let us play in the street. So they would have jump rope and like all the things, right? All the recreational things.
I see somebody in child education looking at that like the safety measurements for something.
Yeah. You know, that's the 90s. You know what you gonna do?
Yeah.
So they would block both ends of the street. And so I told everybody, I said, hey, if you want to be on the cheer team, meet me at the end and we're gonna do some tryouts. So I taught all the girls a cheer. And then they did it, and then I picked my girls. And the next day I came back to school with a form.
Okay.
So the girls had to fill out a form to say like their size, and they have to give me $15 to buy their uniform.
Okay.
So
this is very I love these types of stories. That's so ambitious and so business. Business.
Yes.
Okay. Did you write this form or was it did you get on Microsoft Word?
Got on Word.
Okay. There you go. Look at you.
My friend had a computer.
Look at you.
And a printer. And she made one copy, and then we had to go to like
make some more copies.
Yes, we had to make some more copies. So I came back to school, gave everybody the forms. The money started coming in, and I remember being called to the principal's office.
Yes.
Sister Leonard. Sister Leonard. I hear my name over there. Come, Cornetta, come to the office. Okay, so I make my way to the office. Sister Leonard goes, Cornetta, I just got an angry call from a parent saying,
trying to shake her down for $15.
No. She said,
what?
Why her daughter didn't make it on the cheer team.
Oh man.
She was like, what cheer team? And I was like, so what had happened was.
I know. You was like, I was watching Bring It On, and I was like, you haven't seen Bring It On?
I was like, the boys have a basketball team, the girls need a cheer team. Like we got to do something. And so she said, well, Cornetta, you've already started collecting money, so do this. Any girl who wants to cheer, you're going to have to allow them to cheer. And I was like,
okay.
So in 8th grade, I was coaching 80 girls.
Wow, that's a lot.
And it was too many girls to the point that, like, when we had our games, I would have to do a rotation on the sidelines.
Half the crowd was there for the cheer team. It was like HBCU. Y'all was like the halftime show. It's like 10 boys out there like with 5 parents, and then the cheerleaders got like the rest of the stands.
1,000%. 1,000%. But we made it live. We made it live.
Okay.
And but that was that was my journey in leadership and creativity, and I got to do something. I was never the person who, if something was wrong, that I didn't say something or do something. I've never been that person.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. See, you learned some great things from the West Side Cubs. The East Side Raiders. Oh my gosh. No, I do want some East Side Raider paraphernalia too. I got my Cubs shirt. Yes. All right. So after 8th grade, where you go?
So after 8th grade, I went to Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School.
Oh man. That's what I ended at Northwestern. I did not last at the MLK. What program were you in?
I was in CISC.
Okay. See, that's what I should have did. I went to MSAT. I should have went to the business program.
Yeah. Well, that was international studies. So
it was still would have been business if I would have went there.
Oh, that's hilarious. Fair. So in an international studies program, you had to learn 2 languages. So I learned Mandarin and French.
Okay.
But I found Mandarin to be way easier than French. Because Bordeaux, think about how that's spelled. How Bordeaux? I'm sorry. Like for Mandarin, at least like there's a transliteration of it, and it's like how you see it is how it's pronounced. Whereas in French, I'm like my brain did not compute. But I did well in Mandarin, and then from King, I went to Wayne State.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that KC experience.
Oh Lord.
So
I'll try to block it out.
KC, definitely the culture of the school. It was so funny. I even last night I was driving back. I saw it's like Friday night. It was senior night at King, and it's like, man, I haven't seen like the Friday night lights of a football game in so long, high school football. But just seeing that feel, seeing that energy, it's like, okay, I remember the culture of this. And King, definitely rival of Cass Tech all the time. But King is so unique because it's the programs that were in there. When I'm going there, Principal Beverly Gray is the principal.
That's right.
Actually, was in high school, middle school with her daughter, Crystal Gray. Shout out to Crystal. Weightlifting, all types of stuff. Crystal, mad cool. But during that time, it was that iteration of King, and like I say, CISC, I know a lot more because I took marketing classes even back then through like the Deca store and all of that stuff. And all of that was like more in the CISC.
Wait, what year did you graduate?
2001.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So being there, it was it's mixes of different types of students that just go and connect.
Yep.
What was your experience like? What was the feel like? Being that you kind of do have like some East Side sensibilities, but also on the West Side, what was who did you connect with? What was that like?
Oh, I hated high school. Like I was like, I explored a lot in middle school. Like I feel like I loved middle school.
Did you like it because it was just like such a smaller group? Yeah.
It was a big shock going from a graduating class of 12 to like over 2,000 kids. Like it was a lot. My mom told me, and I don't remember saying this, but she was like, Cornetta, you came home saying, Mama, those kids big. It was a lot.
Okay, and what era, when are we talking? When are you there?
So, I started high school, so I graduated in 2005.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay.
So 2001. So when you graduated, I was coming in.
Yep. So let's see. Who would I still know that would have been there? Not that many people. But and the culture was kind of shifting around that time at King because King started feeling a lot more like a neighborhood school.
Yes, 1,000%.
Especially as a lot of those kids and see those. That's why I didn't finish at King. I knew a lot of the Riverside community. At King High School.
It was the King homes. It was the
King homes and the Riverside. Those were you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like honestly, and because I went from like literally walking across the field to go to school and getting to school like bell rang at 8:05. I got up at 7:50 and just walked myself across the field.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, King, yeah, you know, my mom had to drop me off every morning, da, 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 da. And yeah, because there were fights every day.
Yeah, I was gonna say the culture shifted a
Yeah.
lot. Like I say, definitely, like I say, those was my homies. That's why I didn't finish in the MSAT program because yes, I knew a lot of the King Holmes gentlemen and a lot of the people from Riverside. Like both of those
Yeah.
communities became more prevalent.
Yeah.
And yeah, it went from like, yeah, the culture shifted.
Yeah,
Let's say that
1000%.
the culture definitely shifted.
Yeah.
So from high school, Wayne State. Why did you
Wayne
choose
State.
Wayne State?
Um, okay, so Wayne State. I was interested in the Middle East.
Mm,
Ended up going to the Middle East 3 times, and
interesting.
my
What attracted you to the Middle East? Was you just like, yo, I like this hummus and I got
Oh, man.
uh,
Okay, that's a long story. Let me find the abridged version.
mhm.
Um, it was the church that I was going to.
And then also, I mean, we're thinking '05, '06. I mean, so many of those just extended conflicts of Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, even what's happening right now in Gaza, like people always say, man, pray and peace to the Middle East. So much of so many tragedies connected to that space.
Yeah.
I learned a whole lot more because I've went to Henry Ford Community College, and that's like basically, hey, if you want to immerse yourself in like learning a lot of different Arab cultures, hey, you will learn it at Henry Ford. Let's put it there.
1000%. And
So,
at Wayne State too,
mhm,
because my major was Middle Eastern Studies, and I minored in Arabic. So
interesting.
I
So you
kept the
just
language.
getting all these. You
I love
like
languages.
Duolingo,
Yeah,
Duolingo. It's like
I
no
love
Google Translate for you.
I just loved languages. Like,
Mhm.
I just think it's, a way to communicate with people. It's
Linguistics.
fun. It's
Mhm.
fun.
Okay.
Um, and,
So the church was one of those things, and so definitely connecting to church.
yeah.
I'm guessing you go to Jerusalem, um,
Yep.
and many people
3
make those
times.
pilgrimages
Yeah. Yeah.
to Mecca and Jerusalem.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this, like the Abrahamic
That's
religions,
right.
Judaism, Christianity, Islam, are all like, they all definitely place a lot within that faith in that footprint.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
But also, even then, just like today, uh, many conflicts, many misunderstandings, the way resources are allocated there, you know.
yeah. Um, and a lot of people wouldn't call it a conflict because conflict suggests something small. There's nothing small about,
True indeed.
you know
True indeed.
what's happening.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, so it was religion took me there,
Mhm.
and humanity helped me to see that religion can be a blinding factor when it comes
Mm.
to seeing people's humanity.
And in this, so like leading up to that, like in walking that path
Yeah.
through faith,
Yeah.
what was like your mind kind of thinking to yourself, like, okay, I want to kind of were you thinking of committing yourself um through like different works of like not to get too religious, Lord knows me. I'm definitely not the biggest thumper per se, Bible, but um definitely witnessing, welcoming people to the faith and doing works on behalf of the faith um is is something that in Christianity it's uplifted often. So almost
Yeah.
like, hence, using your body and your works as a vessel on behalf of Christianity and Christ.
Yeah.
However you see, and then basically like, depending upon how deep, but you said 7-day Adventist. So like I said,
Yeah.
that's going to be heavier.
Yes.
Um, it can impact like a lot of just decisions of
Yeah.
where things go.
Yeah. I mean, So in church, there was that one particular Bible verse that they used a lot, which is, "And God said to Abraham, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you." And so, in the church setting, the idea was that, um, you cannot be critical of Israel or the Jewish people, um, unless God will curse you. Like,
Yeah.
that was the message that kind of, like, um, came across. And the thing is, like, um, separate from the people, there's the state,
Mhm.
that is, acting violent toward a group of people.
Let me, Lord knows, I definitely didn't think I would get to
Sorry.
this space in this interview, but no, I like being here because, um, because in it, it kinda goes to, it speaks to what just exists and is very pervasive in some of my understandings of a lot of this. So definitely when we think of Seventh Day Adventists, a lot of the televangelists, a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh, yeah.
that work connected to it's been in looking at more of this conflict, having the understanding like there is Judaism
Yeah.
and then there's Zionism.
Yeah.
Now, Zionism is the belief that that land of Israel is dedicated and connected to the children of God, who are the Jewish people in the faith of Judaism, and that anything against it and expanding what could connect to it. So this is going to be, this what's happening now has really crystallized the fact that like there are Jewish people that are not Zionist,
Mhm.
and there are Christians that are very Zionist.
Yeah.
And the Zionist agenda connecting to a lot in Christianity is very prevalent, especially with like the evangelist.
Yeah.
And also it's a lot of business that kind of connects into this too. So this goes into like many of those trips, many of the works, and back to like what you say, it's like you can't even question what this is because these are God's chosen people, and it can be very it can be manipulative. Let me use that term to a lot of people because it's like this relationship between like you and your God, and then also serving in heaven and doing on work on behalf of God.
Yeah.
But it's front facing with Judaism in the story of Christ, but really what it is this Zionism. And Zionism is something that really comes to life. This is like pre World War One.
Mhm.
As you know, this is just information, like another place that they were considering creating for what's become Israel is spaces in Africa too. So like this agenda in Zionism is um it's everything that we could think about that would be like misplacing. It's basically saying that like this group of people that lived here aren't supposed to be here, and God has chosen us to be here. And in the like you say, it's like deeper than conflict, it's deeper than horror, it's deeper than murder. It's it's extremely tragic of what's happening in Gaza for so many of those people, and Palestine for so many of those people. And a lot of this connected to this agenda, and that agenda of Zionism connecting into, and not just like in the Adventists, but there are so many even black preachers that go on a lot of these trips. Like um and its relationship using that as a guise, but this is more Zionism and not Judaism. So like I love to or I appreciate the fact that now I'm way more crystal clear about like, okay, Zionism is really what I call into question, not Judaism is what I call into question.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what made this crystal clear for me
Mhm.
was, um, we took a trip to Bethlehem,
Mm.
and Bethlehem is in the West Bank,
Mhm.
um, and we met, a pastor, whose church had been uh, like bombed several times. Multiple people in his congregation killed.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck between like Israeli occupation of the settlements, and then just inner conflict in Bethlehem. And I just remember realizing that the Palestinian people are as varied as Black folks, right? Before going to the Middle East, I just thought that all Palestinians were Muslim. And but then that wasn't the case.
No, there are many Christian Palestinians. This has been uplifted by in some spaces and places, but not as much as this is that a lot that comes into question because, like I say, this the IDF and a lot of what's happening through the Israeli military. It's
Yeah. I just from my experience, I saw that folks just wanted to live in peace, and the government wasn't allowing that to be the case. And when I came back home, I just had a whole different perspective on Israel the state. Um yeah, and it just changed, it shifted my whole like understanding of just religion and how it could be really blinding toward so for example, um at my job I was talking to a security guard, and this was right in the middle of the war, the October 6th.
October 7th.
October 7th. Um and the security guard was saying like, yeah, like our church, we're gonna go and we're gonna, be in Jerusalem, and it's gonna be great. And I was just like, but aren't you concerned about like what's happening over there? Like, do you think it's safe? And he was like, oh no, like I just know that God wouldn't let anything happen to us, and just like, like, a genocide might be happening, but like, you know, like it was as if they were exempt from what was happening. Like, I don't know, that type of blinders that was on was just really illuminating for me, because I had those same blinders on, right? Because what's happening to people isn't happening to me, and so therefore it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think, and I do want your take on this too, just because like questioning a lot of things in life that's a maturation of any person.
Yeah.
I and me and hip hop, it's like one of my favorite Nipsey Hussle songs, "Respect Your Passion." It's like you build it up, and then you're unpacking even everything that you're doing, that you're building up. But religion is tough, especially like what Christianity means in the faith of being Black in America. Because in that same, as you talk about the blinders, when you talk about those plantations,
Yeah.
this is most of these plantations are run and guided through believers of Christ.
Yeah.
And those same believers in Christ are giving this to our enslaved ancestors. the conquistadors in Brazil and colonizing. And this is even in the, like, when people say like, man, I just, it doesn't make any sense why so many Mexican people are so Republican, because I know that goes right into a lot of their faith with Catholicism and a lot of what's said about abortions usually. And it's tough because it's still like the beauty of, like, when I think of my grandmother and her relationship with
Yeah.
Christ and Christianity and what that strength gave to her, in Psalms 91 that passes down through my mother too. So it's like you it's you can get in a zone where you like, yo, all this religion is bogus. And then you also get into spaces and places where you have to feel the faith, especially of who we are as a people, and what that means and how do we connect to it. I do believe that this is a journey for everyone to take
Yeah.
through spirituality and faith, but definitely if you start like looking at like history and start unpacking a lot of things, even in Islam, Buddhism or whatever it may be, like, man is at fault. And this is something that, speaks to even in Christianity. And we're not above what that sin could be. But there are still so many things when we think of like us as a people where I think that faith, those prayers, and that spirituality, even if it's into like hoodoo culture too, and African spirituality, like this is something of people coming together and gathering around spirituality and faith. It's tough because oftentimes it gets exploited by man and taken advantage of. But I that may be the way I'm looking to resolve this more in my life, is like this is just the balance that exists
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, um, the last time I was there, it was maybe 2010.
Mm.
So I've been grappling with this
Mm.
since
Since
then.
then, and how to balance it. But
That's right.
also, I'm assuming definitely your family's faith is so strong
Yeah.
into what's fundamental in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, More so when my dad was alive.
Mm.
Um, it was very important for him that he felt like I was connected to God in some way.
Mm.
And then when he passed, like that pressure to behave like a
Mhm.
Christian, if
Mhm.
you will, was taken off. But then I was left with, well, what do I feel?
Mm.
And what is my journey? And I think every new year, my resolution is around like some type of spiritual aspect for me, like,
Mm.
because I love the idea of prayer. I think prayer is just a beautiful thing. It's a thing that, like, something is in your heart, something is in your soul, and you bring it up and you use the words to kind of um talk to God about what's deep in your heart. Um and that's it's just, and sometimes you feel comfort in the moment, or sometimes the thing that you have spoken out loud is now manifesting in some way. Um, that's a beautiful thing to me. Another thing that's beautiful is practicing gratitude.
Mm.
Um, that for me is also a form of prayer and spirituality. And um, every year I always say that I want to grow deeper into my spiritual practice,
Mm.
but I yet have not um gotten to the practice part. Like I in my head I know like prayer and gratitude like goes hand in hand, and it shifts things. It shifts your mental wiring. It shifts your energy. It shifts the things around you. Like people are hearing and seeing and attesting to what's happening, the change that's happening, but um the practice of it all. Like,
Mhm.
like when you get into the everyday, the mundane, um, but then when you experience something where you're like, "No, actually I need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of spiritual encouragement." And so you do that prayer, and so you do that gratitude. But I wanna get to the point where it's a daily practice and not something that I lean into when something is scary or, um something's going wrong.
Yeah,
So,
and you spoke about this, and condolences on the loss of your father. I Grief is
yeah,
also one of those things that when it comes to, like, faith,
yeah,
depending upon whatever that circumstance is, this is where, definitely we can question our faith,
yeah,
over what, why, how I was doing everything, and just having that understanding and the humility and the gratitude of accepting what that is. Um, and definitely, things moving through faith as you talk about that, and whatever that spiritual walk that every person goes on, and that balance. But yeah, intercession is that can be heavy, or like prayer, and those prayer warriors, even the act of someone holding your hand and praying with you,
yeah.
that could definitely be heavy, especially depending upon what you're going through,
That's right.
even if you're not necessarily going through anything, but just welcoming more of that healing presence to be present
That's
with
right.
you,
That's
and
right.
know that that person's there with you in faith. Like,
That's right.
yeah,
It's a beautiful thing. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. It connects us and if I could just go back to my project real quick.
yeah.
Um, so, um, I consider myself a storyteller.
Mhm.
Um, and I believe right now we are experiencing the erosion of humanity.
Hmm.
Like um, when I think about the Palestinian people, when I think about the people in Sudan, when I think about what's happening here in America, I mean, SNAP benefits are being taken. Like all these things, are taking place, and it's so easy to go into these different camps, and everybody is kind of pitted against each other. And I see you now as my enemy because you said this thing. Um, and yeah, I am nervous about where we are in recognizing our humanity for each other. And I believe that the role of the storyteller in this day is to help humanize people. And the role of the storyteller is actually to listen first. Um, to listen to what's happening, to hear what people are saying, um, and then speak on those things and tell it in a way, like to the point of Nina Simone says, by hook or crook,
Mhm.
get people to like get Black people to love their culture. I think that's that loosely what she said. But I think the role of the storyteller is to humanize what we're seeing. Um, in the and there was actually a poll that went out. Oh geez, I'm forgetting the name of the research organization, but they found that um, only 40% of Americans trust each other. Like, so, people don't trust strangers, people don't trust their neighbors, people just don't trust, like, they don't trust, and when you have a people not trusting each other, it's really easy to say, like, "So, since I can't trust you, I don't trust that you have goodwill toward me at all,"
Yes.
and that lack of trust, I feel like, is eating at humanity, like, seeing another person as human. Like, we just we 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 see each other as enemies now, right? And as my enemy, I'm gonna see you in this only in this way. And I just believe that the role of the storyteller is to humanize people, and to get us to see that like we all have differences, and but we also all have commonality. And so there might be something in my story that connects to something in your story. And could we use that as a building block to come back together again as a people? Um, and I understand there's nuance to it. I promise. Like there's harm, there's all the things, but just at the basic level, um, yeah, what does it mean to come back together? And so, Recipes of Resistance is a docu-series, where I am talking one on one with an individual who's doing something interesting in Detroit. They're coming into my kitchen, and we're preparing a meal. And, we're getting to know each other during that meal, and then we sit down and we have those tough conversations. And so the first one is gonna be about my grandma, because that's the pilot episode, and shout out to everybody who donated to the campaign. We raised enough money to pay for the crew, pay for the editing, and get everything all together. But that first episode is about, my grandmother, and helping people to understand how they too can learn how to connect with their past, like the different tools, the genealogy, the archiving, the reading of the census. It really is like a way to like encourage people to get interested, to get curious about your past. Um, and so like a part of the screening that I hope to have is to have a genealogist on site, to have an archivist on site after the showing and the talkback, but have them on site to help them answer any questions that people have about, how do I do this again? Like, how do I get started? Because I think you got to be curious about yourself. You got to be curious about your past, and we got to stay curious about each other. Because the moment that we stop like asking questions and just assuming, I I don't think that leaves us in a better place. So, Recipes of Resistance is all about having those tough conversations over food, because I just feel like food is a connector. And so the pilot episode is happening, and if I love it, if I love the feel of it, if I'm like, "Oh, I need to do more," then I'll launch the full series. In the full series, the second episode is gonna be with an Arab American woman. And I really wanna sit down and talk to her about the Arab vote.
Mm.
When you think about Kamala Harris and Trump, and I mean, this man instituted the Muslim ban. Like, he's so anti, and I don't for the life of me, like, understand, why, um why the vote went in that way. Dearborn predominantly voted for Trump. And so I just wanna sit down with her and talk about, like, what happened. Like, was, what was happening with the Palestinian people, did that really contribute to Arab Americans saying, "You know what, enough with the establishment, like, enough with the Democrats. They're not doing what we're asking them to do, like, enough with them. And so we're just gonna, like, whatever." Um, but I wanna know, like, the nuance that went into the Arab vote around Trump. Like, what happened there?
Okay. Man, there's so much to add to
Yeah.
of what you said. So first, let me go back to like some of the root of where you came from with what you shared, and thank you
Yeah.
for uplifting a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because
And
these
sorry,
interviews,
it was a sucker. Sorry.
no. These interviews where people be like, "Gary be talking all the time." It's like sometimes I do talk a lot, but it's in my mind as you talk about that connection. Even with what we've went through in talking about Gaza,
Yeah.
um, the I walk around with all these thoughts. I'm like a nerd about a lot of things, and I love conversation, especially if my presence of mind can be present for it. And I'm present here, definitely now, for this, and many of my Detroiters difference. So first, I'm gonna go to trust, and do
Yeah.
we trust each other?
Yeah.
Um, Trust, I look at like respect in a lot of ways. Um, and people, especially men, black men especially, respect is one of those like key factors that you're going to hear most black men speak to, no matter what. And I think that that's some of us looking to find like, okay, you at minimum, you're gonna respect me.
Mhm.
The challenge that I have where I've let go of a lot of that, and I've shared this with a lot of like the younger brothers or even older folks, and sometimes, men be like, "You sound crazy." It's like, for me to want your respect, I have to have respect for your definition of what respect is.
Mm.
And I think trust is another one of those, like, I'm gonna use this term and not being all TI like people say, but like it's a altruistic value that I don't even necessarily know. It's like if we have that common denominator where we're defining truth in the same boat, you know? And I'm gonna even fast forward to even what you say about this two-party system. You know, one of my favorite jokes, you know, from George Carlin, rest in peace. Comedians like use philosophy in life.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
you know, you go in and they say that the worst system ever is you just got one person and it's tyrannical and that's a dictatorship. But this is the best system. You got two options. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it becomes difficult within like the urgency. And I'm when I speak to this, I'm not like blaming one particular Democrat or the party itself, but the messaging and even the ways that it interacts with us, even kind of like in the shadows of this local election right now.
Yeah.
You know, with Mary Sheffield and Solomon Kinlock, which I think both have done very valuable things for our city. But inside of this race, I'm seeing a lot of my homies like on Facebook kind of like, you know, throwing rocks, hiding hands, and like just back and forth over like this decision as if like this is going to question into character other people that have done things into our city. At the root of it, I would like what would be most progressive for my city, whomever ends up in that office. I do think that right now, all signs look to Mary Sheffield will more than likely be the next mayor of the city of Detroit. And if that comes to light to bear fruit, like on behalf of the city of Detroit, I want it to be progressive. But now just due to like, you know, interactions, it's going to be people saying like, oh man, you know, they was always with her in the first place and I can't deal with them forever. So it's like, we're going to check out because of these personal battles.
Yeah.
And getting back a little bit back to like trust, respect, and even how we communicate. You know, I don't know what science experiments going to happen about how these devices and all the ways that we can connect through social media will change, like the impact that it has on like how we even see one another. You know what I'm saying? Because at the root of it, when it comes to trust, I really do think that you can trust most people. It's probably the people, and when I say this, I know it's going to be like, yep, you got to watch the people close to you. It's not. It's more like from knowing a lot of people that may be labeled criminals in a nation that was built on criminality in itself. Everything here is fruit of the poisonous tree. You have to like, I think before you do the bold acts that takes advantage of another person, you have to like defame their character and think that that's kind of worth it. So like for me to move in an untrustworthy manner with whoever this person is, I have to like justify in my mind that you deserve that. You know what I'm saying? So that could be as simple as saying, you know, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you really there in 10 minutes. Or it can be as egregious as saying like, yep, I'm about to steal their credit card and I'm about to, you know, buy some stuff because it's like they got enough money. They don't need it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're still like all of this stuff that's so unique. And shout out to my homie Sterling Toes. It's like these are just reflections of ourselves. Because our relationships that we have are so much the mirror of who we are.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say I don't trust people, what you're really saying is you don't trust yourself.
Right.
When you say I don't respect a lot of people, you're saying you don't respect yourself. And some of this just back to one of the toughest thing about it. And I'm, you know, I have a marketing firm. I do a lot of media, definitely in that arc of storytelling. But it's back to like, where's peacefulness? Where's happiness? Where are we at? Like where we're grounded? And so many people, I think, have like the center, and that's the beauty of, I think, children. And sometimes when you can get like those seniors that get to that peaceful place in life, but especially like a child's can be at the epitome of joy with like, yo, man, here goes some bubbles. You know what I'm saying? And then they just gonna play with bubbles. For us, it's like, damn, it's wintertime, DTE about to go up. I got to pay my car insurance. Shit, I don't know what's happening with these SNAP benefits. I know the people down the street got that, so they may even want something. Do I want to gather something for them? Am I going to be straight? You know what I'm saying? Health insurance is going up. Like, it's all these other factors that really take us away from the one of like, are you right? Do you love yourself? Can you look yourself in the mirror and be like, look, I'm good. God has blessed me with something to be thankful for. And that, as I'm saying this, it's so many people that I think are like never really even sit with themselves to like be like, yo, I'm so blessed. And it's very tough, especially when you get across, I don't know, you said like your grandmother had a stroke. Like when you connect with people that are dealing with like heavy illnesses and then you see them like in such a place of joy and elation, it damn near makes you, some people are even more mad at them. It's like, how do you acting all good and dealing with all of this extra stuff? But like, how do we just get back to like loving one another? And it's not something that we like. I think many of us in our mind have a like, when I get this, then I'll be cool.
Yeah.
And then you get that and you're not cool, whatever it is. So then you like keep amplifying and put more on top and more on top, in this era of people recognizing mental illness, like with a lot of people recognizing that, one of the things that I think is the outcome has become like a lot of the younger people I know, like recognize, okay, I have this problem, but they're not seeing a lot of they're not seeing a lot of the healing that goes on to it.
Yeah.
It's like mental illness. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, more people, I guess, are now saying mental health, but it's like it can be a healing component in a person too. You know what I'm saying? It's like your toe hurt because you need to address something in your toe, and you address it, and then it's like, oh, that's what I got to do. Got the gout. I need to stop eating this damn corned beef sandwich every day. You know what I'm saying? But that's a good thing that it notified me that I can now resolve it. I know I'm rambling here, but I think it kind of connects in the sense of like the humanity that you speak of that we're seeking.
Yeah.
Where we're putting it so far away from us when really it's so right here.
Yeah, you okay. What comes to mind after what you just shared is, I don't know that Grace Lee Boggs coined this, but maybe she popularized it, which is a healthy self is a healthy community, right? And it is one of those things where it's like so I have two values that I live by. One value is keep your word. You gotta keep it. Like, the world is built on keeping your word. Like, if people can't like honor what they say they're gonna do, anyway, keep your word. And the other is curiosity.
You spoke to curiosity already.
Yeah. Curiosity is just so important, again, because like you can assume a thing about a person. And you can make statements about a person. But until you ask them that question, until you make the statement into a question, then you will actually never know the truth about a person. And also you would never know the truth about yourself. And even when you think about like artists and how they get creative, they think, oh, I wonder if I could do it this way, or I wonder if if I did this, what would that sound like? So it's so the curiosity is both like a creative thing, but it's also like a human relational thing. And so those are the two values that I try to live by.
I'll throw you one that I speak to. My family almost gets sick of me saying it. But this one helps. Don't try to make sense out of nonsense.
Yeah.
If it starts driving down Nonsense Street, and that helps me with a lot of the trust, the respect, a lot of stuff. Because like if it just starts driving down Nonsense Street, it's like, okay, we're in Nonsense Street. So let's observe. But I'm not gonna try to make sense of this, because it used to wreck my brain of a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what do you mean? You lose weight eating McDonald's every day. That don't even make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of like just ad hoc arguments that you get into. It's like I ain't got to make sense out of nonsense.
Yeah.
let's live in this reality for a moment
Yeah.
where we're at, because obviously the logic ain't gonna never connect with me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
Mhm,
Um, I bring up curiosity again
mhm.
because, um, this series, Recipes of Resistance, is just my curiosity.
I love it.
I just wanna know
Yeah.
what would happen if this pilot episode brings me so much joy that I just have to do it again.
And I think it will. And then you naturally in your storytelling that I could just tell
Yeah.
are here, and just knowing other, we conversing and stuff
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
if you're ready in a good presence of mind, and
Yeah.
it's tough, especially with these devices, but like nothing's better than like a rich conversation with somebody that you kind of
That's right.
barely know. Like, I'm sometimes in the mood, you get in an Uber and you out of town, but then sometimes it's like, you know what? All right, let's just go on and have a conversation with the
Yeah.
Uber driver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's up? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you be like, yeah, I'm trying to, but it's like, nah, let me just be human.
Right.
They want to talk. I know I said quiet, but you know what? Forget it.
Yeah.
I gotta
Let's
go
do
to the
it.
airport. What's going on, homie?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And
And that's the other thing. I think a lot of the conversations we have are, and this is me speaking from my Detroit is different heart. A lot of the conversations we have are so like external.
Mhm.
Not a lot of internal discussions.
Yeah.
So like external things are like small talk, or like, oh, this is happening and that's happening. But it's like, yo, what's going on with you? Let's talk about what we're doing. I mean, even the setting of a kitchen, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you be, my kitchen, and it's like, okay, my process for how I make, chicken wings, especially with the air fryer, but I'm
Yeah,
not
there you
gonna
go.
marinate them a little bit, season them, and then timing and all of this stuff. Like, so like all of this is like a process where it's like, oh, I learned this here, there,
Yeah.
and in other spaces where it's going to get, and not in the, not in the like Cinemax state, but it's an intimacy
That's right.
that oftentimes in a lot of these human connections we're missing, because we're staying so like surface and stoic,
That's right.
that it's easy to be like, why would I trust them?
That's
Whereas
right.
now, if you get a better understanding of like who this person is, it's like, hmm, okay, I I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and, sometimes you don't have to, agree about a thing in order to understand. Like, "Oh, okay,
Hmm.
so that's where we differ, and that's
Yeah.
okay." Like, we don't all have to agree on the same thing.
No.
Um, and
But
again,
we,
there's nuance to that as well, 'cause I even think about, even the Baldwin quote about, um, uh, "If your disagreement, takes away my humanity, then, like, what's the point?" Like, what's the point,
a- and and similar to an interview I had with I don't know if you know Lauren Hood,
Yeah.
Institute of Afro-Urbanism, and that's really building an index of Black thriving
Yeah.
and embracing and walking towards that in that journey. And she said, like, for so long you're a disruptor, but also back to like that manifestation. You're going to create the reality.
That's
And I'm
right.
not. I love so much of what Baldwin
Yeah.
says, but it's like technically, as you start moving spaces and places, it's going to be harder to get to those spaces that dissonance exists. But some people, they're driven towards that dissonance.
Mm.
It's like we see it, and it's like they act like, oh man, I hate being here, but I'm gonna go. I mean, how many of you guys know somebody that act like they hate their job, they hate their job, they hate their job, and they talk about hating their job all the time, but they keep going back in. It's like it's I don't want to say like a toxic relationship, but it's something that's keeping them connected. And I don't think it's just the paycheck, but it's like you're gonna, if you're moving in that space of autonomy and joy, it's just going to be hard to be around you if I'm always in a space of like despair and anger and like feeding into that. So like I think we're that man back to, I guess we going 360 back to the law of attraction and manifestation.
Yeah.
We really do manifest a lot
Mhm.
of how we're seeing the world and how we engage with the world. And definitely with the project that you're saying, you're gonna you're gonna be welcomed into a person's and fellowship of food
Yeah.
and story. So in my mind, I think that you're gonna have some great experiences because people are gonna want to make those connections.
We'll see. We'll see. That's my hope. And I got some really interesting partnerships as a result of that. But again, my whole thing is like I don't want to do anything if it's not fun. If it's not fun for me, I don't want to do it.
And
Like,
that right there is like, I mean, that's I learned a new concept. Parenting yourself. That's feeding your inner child. Yeah.
So, one thing you may not know about me, what was it 2018? I launched Pedal to Porch, which was a neighborhood bike ride that included stops where residents use their front porch as a stage to tell their story.
Okay.
And it was a way to connect neighbors to each other. Because a lot of times, like, what happens in neighborhoods is that like large entities move into the neighborhoods and then things happen because there isn't an organizing body or there aren't neighbors that can say like, hey, did you hear about this happening up the street or whatever? And so some neighborhoods get taken advantage of because they don't have an organizing body. And so Paddle the Porch was a way to do that.
Immediately when you said that, just so people know my silly mind sometimes, I immediately thought of like Huggy Bear and Don't Be a Menace when they's like, I got to do a porch down because my mama made me stay over here. But
hilarious.
Okay, all right.
Hilarious.
That's that's where my mind.
Hilarious.
A porch down.
A porch down. So that was Pedal the Porch, and then I did Dinner for 30, where I invited a home cook to prepare a meal that was connected to their fondest memory, and then prepare that meal in front of an audience of 30 people, and then I got a chance to taste it. But storytelling was
still
at the
a
root
lot
of it.
of these intimate connections.
That's
of
right.
Things that are very personal and not so external.
That's right.
Where people can connect.
That's right. It's like making the private public.
And I'm sure that those rich experiences, because it's just hard to, I shouldn't say hard, I'm manifesting that, but I found it in my life journey because guess how I'm navigating through life, I'm running into more external conversations than internal conversations. You know?
Yeah.
So I would say that it's just going to grow.
I mean, I hope so. Again, like, and I did those projects because they were fun for me. But I kept going and I got burnt out. Because for Pedal to Porch, I did like 7 neighborhoods in Detroit and then Harper Woods and then Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
They invited me to come and do historically Black neighborhood. I also did Black Bottom.
Okay.
So I partnered with Black Bottom Archives.
Shout out to Black Bottom. I was at their opening exhibit the other day.
Yep. So the porches. So we Emily Catul constructed them. And then she's an architecture professor at the time at UDM. But we place those porches in specific areas where Black Bottom was, and then we had former residents on those porches.
That's cool.
Telling a story. So I did that project with Black Bottom Archives. And we partnered with Mogo. So Mogo helped with getting people on bikes and going around. But yes. And then after a while, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this no more.
I mean, but that's the other part, I think, of a lot of things, like going with the momentum that you're at, especially in like with what you're doing, because it is so intimate, so personal. Like if your presence of mind isn't, I'm speaking from like, and I've done some, up to 500 episodes.
Ooh, 500.
You'll see some of it. It's like you can kind of tell, like when it goes one way or the other.
Sure.
And if I'm not fresh and ready to exchange like this, it's not going to be as pleasant. If it's not going to be as pleasant, then now you start like looking for externalities to fulfill what it is, where the experience itself should be fulfilling.
That's right. And so I'm testing it out.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been a definitely a more interesting discussion than I expected. I definitely welcome you back. How do people support? When do you expect us to be able to watch episode 1?
Yes. So shout out to Desmond Love and Katie Dresner.
Okay, Desmond Love he an ace with that.
Yes.
Shout out to Des.
Yes. So he's the director.
Okay.
And Katie is the editor.
Okay.
And so we film November 16th.
Oh, that's coming up soon.
It's coming up so soon. I had like paint all over because I've been like refreshing my house.
Okay.
But so November 16th is the filming, and then we probably won't do a like premiere until maybe January.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's so many different partnerships that I'm like trying to work out. But anyway, I'm so excited people could anticipate something at the top of the year next year.
Cool.
And they can go to studio8278.com. So 8278 was the address of my grandmother's house who lived on Greenlawn.
Okay.
So back to grandma. Her house is no longer there. But Joe Louis Greenway is.
Okay.
Because it runs straight through. Right behind. So not cut through, but right behind. But studio8278.com is where you can stay updated. I'm also on Instagram at studio8278.
Okay.
Detroit. And yeah, people can learn and stay connected to how I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy. Like it's one quick thing. When I first started fundraising for the episode, I talked with my cousin. I talked with my family, and I was like, "Hey, y'all, I'm raising some money for this thing. And right now, I'm just like raising money for the crew." And my cousin, who's in the NFL, was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of that." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Man, maybe I didn't dream big enough."
Hilarious.
Maybe I didn't dream big enough. But one step at a time.
Yeah.
And then just super, super grateful for everybody who donated to the campaign, literally bringing my dream to reality. And I can't wait to kind of to show people, what's created from it. And I really do hope that it is a gift to Detroit.
I think it's gonna be fly. It sounds a little bit like Anthony Bourdain meets Skip Gates.
Yes,
meets
that's exactly right.
Rachel Ray.
Not Rachel Ray.
meets I don't know. I don't even know who would I say meets Martha Jean the Queen. Shout out to an OG. All of that stuff. Like man, oh man.
Yeah, bring it all together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we gonna do. And have some fun the whole time through.
That is my prayer. All
right. So, with that being said, and I definitely will definitely welcome you back.
Thank you.
Welcome you back.
Thank you.
Classic Detroit is different questions here.
Yeah.
So, very first car, year, make, and model, year you got it.
Ooh, let's see, a 2001 Camry.
Okay. All right. Where's the first place you went when you got it?
Ooh, first place I went when I got it. Probably to go visit Brent.
Okay. There you go. All right, there we go.
He was living on Burnside.
Okay.
On the east side.
Look at him. Had that game.
I was so proud of that car too. Like it was like, I treated it like a Cadillac because it was to me.
Okay. What was the name?
Cameron.
Okay. All right. Cars with human names.
Yes. It was Cameron the Camry.
What in the Christine was going on in this vehicle? I don't know if people seen that Stephen King film, but one of my favorites. All right. You're the DJ at the end of the fireworks, Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What you playing?
Back that ass up.
Okay.
And the first thing came up is the Beyonce did the remix of it.
Before I Let Go?
There we go.
Okay.
That one.
It's all the people that thought No Limit won that versus battle that are like, what are you talking about? supposed to play I'm About It. How you do that there? I'm just listening.
Those would be my 2 songs.
I got you. All right, and very last question. You could rename what word after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
What word? Okay, so you know how, like, some streets, they got 2 names?
Mm-hmm.
Like, McNichols got several names. It got 6
Yes.
Mile, McNichols, and Meyer, right?
Well,
like that.
It runs concurrent or like, just, what people say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So one portion of what word?
I like this. This is the first time it's been answered in this way. I'm already ready for this experience. Ready for this experience.
One would be Grace Lee Boggs.
Okay.
Because that documentary, the Grace Lee Boggs documentary, it literally changed my life. Like I was like, yeah. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time.
Okay.
And then Laura.
Okay.
Laura Harge.
I'm with it. Where it converges. Yeah. They probably having tea and stuff together.
There we go.
I don't know if you ever met Grace, but
I have not, but
yeah,
seen plenty of. And Britt actually met her.
Yeah, I met her. That was back when I was back in the day. When I was early, when Allied Media Projects was Allied Media Conference. I want to say it was like the very second one. We were in a collective circle, and she was just sitting next to me, and it's like I didn't even realize who that was. And, I'm just sitting up there, jaw japping away, saying all types of stuff that, oh boy, back in the day, 2007, me had all types of things and opinions.
Hey man, never change.
Yeah. Now I got way less opinions. Be coming with me like I say, it's like, hey, let's drive down Nonsense Street. You know what I'm saying? Let's go for a ride. I was taking people on that ride back in the day.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, whatever. Shoot.
After 500 episodes, why do you continue to do this? And how do you keep it fresh for yourself?
Oh, what you just said, curiosity. I'm that kid that I don't know if people ever read that book, like The Power of Why, but I'm that person that's like, really why? I have, my mind is full of like associations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like people say, damn, you be remembering a lot. But it's like, when I see something, hear something, it's like I put it together and it's like, wow, it snaps in my mind. So like now from this interview, and I remember a lot of the interviews, and it's like, oh, it snaps in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just from like Brent's interview. Now when I think of that Michigan State Flintstones team, he's gonna be in my mind in that mix of being there along with other associations. What you shared about Israel, but more so, definitely taking on like different international studies and learning different languages and where you were at in those connections. Now that's going to be there. So I still have like this thirst for just like, explain it to me. Like, why are you doing this? I really do, have that still in me, because as I find out a lot of that why, it helps me like layer and have a better understanding of like moving through things. So sometimes definitely like off mic, people be like, damn, I can seem very introverted because it's not the same like personality or whatever, because I'm still processing like how to connect the associations of like, okay, what you're doing. Like even that whole self-parenting thing. I got introduced to that at the Afros and Audios conference. And she was like, yeah, my podcast is a lot about slow life and self-parenting. I was like, what? Break both of those. You know what I'm saying? So now that I have the understanding that like the self-parenting is looking to feed your inner child in a respectful way, it's like, okay, now I can like put this in place. But I still have it's so many people too. And the cool thing about Detroit is Different is, though this is not, if you're looking to like monetize a podcast, this is not the method. You should probably get something very niche, very specific, and focus on that. But collectively, all these Detroit stories come together to give me a better understanding and paint a bigger picture. In that same life of the vision of what you have, I really want to go through the archives, and I really like to map out like so many of the interviews and different things that happen at different places and spaces of like snippets. Cause over time since 2014, it's just some unique stories.
Yeah.
Cause like, yeah, it's like, wow, that's all like into like all these footprints of a collective story. And like, I guess it'd be like one of those things where like you press a button and hear, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you hear Stretch Money talking about something, and then you hear Dan Aldridge talking about revolution, and then you hear, you know, I don't know, Amar just talking about living over here. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that's what I see, because it adds the perspective and layer to the Black experience too. And I do think that that Black experience, especially being a Black man, kind of like the respect. We almost wear it like a like a coat or something. And back to like the humanizing of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not like sitting listening to a song like, as a Black man, how should I like this song? You know what I'm saying? But it can sometimes be overwhelming and feeling like that. So if I can unpack and add more of these stories and commonalities, we get more humanity into all of this stuff.
You like the connecting the dots.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. Like shit. Through this, just the Wayne State stories alone. And we didn't even dive deep into your Wayne State journey, which I could have like shot at that, because that era of Wayne State to me, and I mean, I kind of spoke with this about Brent too, like that, like 2000, maybe like, I want to say like 2004 to like maybe about like 2008, 2009. Wayne State felt like the Black students there. It like the culture of it felt damn near like I don't know, like what Eastern Michigan used to feel like, you know, it's obviously white students here and all of that stuff, but like, you know, you could be in the student center building and feel like, damn, this is an episode of A Different World. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the events that were happening, and the Black Student Union at that time, you know, and just things in different iterations, you know, change, you know, but that was I think that was a special era to be on that campus at that time. And I'm not knocking who's on the campus now. It's just different.
Yeah. Wayne State. I loved my time at Wayne State. It was the thing that brought me back to me. And we could talk about this another time, because I could go, but
I got you.
Anyway.
Well, we'll definitely come back and talk about the Warriors. Yeah. Because even in the layers of that, just talking about, you know, to like my stories with Jeff Edison, because like the racism that existed at the institution, to like for Black studies and all of the other things. I mean, Chokwe Lumumba. So like, it's like the continuity of it. And I think it adds so much perspective if you go through Detroit is Different, the archives.
It's all there.
Yep.
Awesome.
Peace.
Detroit. Detroit.